Welcome everyone to this wonderful Solstice Celebration, and we are delighted that you're here with us. We are celebrating both winter and summer because the earth is round and whole and it's about time we acknowledge both realities at the same time. My name is Anneloes Smitsman and I am one of the founders of EARTHwise Center. We're here with an incredible team of stewards. You're going to be seeing them all. I also want to bring up here my dear friend, Justine. I am so grateful that you're here with us because what we're going to be doing for the coming 90 minutes is to really usher in and enter into what it means to be planetary citizens, what it means to be the future humans of the emerging new era, and to really join in our hearts, in our minds, in our consciousness, but also in our actions for that shift towards a planetary civilization. And that really means for us the realization that we are part of a vast field of life that's been growing and developing and evolving for billions of years. And what an honor it is to be humans, to be part of that field, to be one of the children of that field, one of the children of Mother Earth. And therefore to understand that if we want to solve all of those challenges that we're faced with now, we need to stand united for the well-being of life and our planet and future generations in ways we never have before. Jean has been invoking that call for, I would say, a lifetime, Jean. So I'd love to hear from you a few of your words and your support. And thank you so much for what you have been doing for all of us for such a long time and for me personally as well.
Well, thank you so very much, Anneloes. Hello, everybody. What a pleasure it is to be here with you today during this special day of solstice. Anneloes and I have known each other for some years, and we've been working together closely on our books for, 3 years now? And during this time, we often explored what does it mean to become the future human of a planetary civilization, which is why I very strongly support and believe in her EARTHwise constitution, as it provides, so many of the keys and the codes and the open doors to a whole new order of reality. And I'm delighted, as I say, to meet so many of the stewards who have formed around this work and the growing community for becoming the required human who can make the critical difference for this time. The critical difference for this time. Isn't it wonderful that today is Solstice Day, which is the end of the long winter, the end of the long darkness, and the beginning of the time of light? For that is where we are, isn't it? We are people of the parenthesis, leaving one order of reality, beginning a new one. And so much of the teaching and training that appears in our books, but especially appears in your direct relationship with dear Anneloes, is training of the new humans, trainings for profoundly new ways of being and doing and becoming. It's interesting that the solstice being celebrated for so many, many years in so many different cultures, and often in these cultures, a time of great merriment, of laughter. Hurrah, the old world is gone. There's the bad sun, solstice, soul sun, sisteri, hanging in there would be the old sun that is hanging in there is finally leaving. And the new sun, the sun of spirit. I mean, we are aware of the largesse of reality in the world, but the fact is that the largesse, the incredible reality within, is equally large. And to be trained, to be prepared, know yourself as co-creators with the cosmic agency. And that you are bringing in the sun of a new time, the sun of the ending of an old era that has ceased to work as well as it could. How does it make you feel to know that you're in the front lines of co-creation? I just want to hear from you. What does it make you feel knowing this, feeling this, studying with Anneloes and others, reading the books, reading the testaments of the transcendence of time and space? Something else that we sometimes do in our work together, we realize that according to cosmic physics and quantum physics, time past, time present, time future is simultaneous. And also the little proteins of which you are made up of are always going back and forth across time. Did you know that? They jump into the past, they go into the present, they go into the future. You are always a future human. And if you begin to pattern your life, your thought, your reality with a sense of what this future is, then you are sending these little subatomic molecules, of which you have trillions, you're sending them into the future itself, coded with the sources and the resources to make the difference. Oh, dear friends, you are the source folk. You are probably the most important people in history. For what you do will make the difference, whether between we grow or die, evolve or perish. This evolutionary moment where you pattern not just the past, but the future and the present is the time of a kind of, let's call it a universal solstice. A universal solstice. And you are the people who, as Gandhi said, who become the difference that makes the difference. And the kinds of work that you've been doing with Anneloes is part of that extraordinary, deep, fertile becoming. So I am so happy to be here with you. It is a great pleasure to be with you on this day. I think of the line of Dante when he said, I'll give it to you in the original Italian, which sounds better. L'amore che muove il sole e l'altre stelle. I'm half Sicilian, so allowed to be like this. L'amore che muove il sole e l'altre stelle. The love that moves the sun and all the stars. That's you, my friends. That's us. We are the people of the beginning and the continuation of the time of the return of light. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Jean. I can feel this in all of my cells. I'm so grateful for your invocation. And with that, I'd love to go to Kurt. Dear Kurt, would you be able to read for us really the foundation and opening of the EARTHwise Constitution for a planetary civilization?
Yes, at this very special moment, very special, where we're coming to understand that the solstice is not just one way, but it's a complete way in the north and in the south together. As the vision keeper, I give you this. We, as future ancestors of a planetary civilization, commit to co-creating thrivable worlds and futures with the wisdom of living system in partnership with life and our Earth.
Thank you so much, Kurt. That is beautiful. And I'd love to bring forward, and now, Anita, are you with us?
Yes, I am. I just want to say, when I heard the promise, I not only hear the words, but I heard the music between them. So thank you. And as we continue on, we follow with Article 2, which is our purpose. And our purpose is to steward and actualize the possibilities for thrivable worlds and futures by co-creating the capacities, the systems, governance, tools, and pathways for a planetary civilization. So let's just take a couple of deep breaths and continue to take those deep cleansing breaths as I invite you to listen with the softest part of your ears and expanding heart. as we each acknowledge each other here, not as in these little boxes, but as human beings, whole human beings with ancestors, and the lands where we each are joining from are here, and we honor that. And I honor my ancestors, the Nahua, the Azteca people of the central Mexico, the Amazon, and the deserts of the southwest U.S. And I hope you can feel our ancestors are smiling, for we are gathered here to be joyful and responsible future ancestors in partnership with all our relations, all life on Earth and the cosmos. As an Indigenous person, I was taught the original instructions to know that we each are of the earth, the water, the elements, and the stardust of the cosmos. And we are to honor and care for the sacredness of all our relations, past, present, and future. These original instructions have been forgotten by some human beings, but not here. Here, the light is upon us and the light is within us. There's a remembering happening. We are part of the earth and the cosmos. A prophecy foretold that human beings would come a time that they would acknowledge the wisdom of indigenous people and the wisdom of the living nature systems that we human beings are a part of. The development of this EARTHwise Constitution embodies the 16 indigenous principles, as well as other life-giving principles. That is important, for we know that we are evolving and contributing as a whole, and together we must. Indigenous wisdom is essential for life to thrive, and we are here with you. This Constitution provides a framework and compass to help focus us in action as we continue to be guided by the stars, the moon, the sun, and all of nature. Yes, the energy of solstice is upon us. Winter for us in the north, summer for our relatives in the south, as our planet completes her journey around the sun to begin anew. In my indigenous tradition, this is a most sacred time, a time to discover our connection to the seasons, Mother Earth, our planet, and our own soul's journey, and the collective interconnected journey that we are all on. This is the time of return of the light, to look back and to look forward, to be present now to Mother Earth and our conscious cosmos. On this solstice day, we thank you, grandmother, grandfather, God, Allah, Buddha, universe energy, the great mystery, and whatever is your tradition, we honor, as we continue to listen with the softest part of our ears and expanding hearts in love. Thank you for supporting us to be conscious, life-giving forces in this hoop of life, evolving, remembering we belong, not separate from each other, intimately interconnected. Today, I give gratitude in your presence, all of you and your ancestors, past and future. We are discovering and embracing the wholeness of the EARTHwise Constitution, a beautiful compass to aid us to create a thriving world with all our relations, past, present, and at least 7 generations to come. In beauty we walk, in beauty we walk, in beauty we walk, in beauty we walk. All my precious relations. Aho.
Thank you so much, dear sister, for your incredible stewardship, your wisdom, your guidance, your love, and your blessings. I'm deeply grateful. And with that, I would like to bring my sister Mariana here.
It's an honor and a great privilege to be here. Thank you for inviting me. And you are all a hard act to follow.
So we would love to hear from you some words of wisdoms as well.
Well, my words of wisdom are tied to Article 4.4, which are the pattern weavers. And we are the pattern weavers because we create collaborative capacities, partnerships, and communities with the new evolutionary patterns as weavers, connectors, and evolutionary builders. We catalyze change integrally by creating the conditions for transformative emergence and by building the communities and foundational systems of emerging planetary civilizations. We create collaborations, incentives for the new economies of planetary civilizations. We promote, reward, and scale cooperation, generosity, compassion, and abundance. And of course, we are all investors in the foundational systems of evolutionary economies, which are regenerative and thrivable by design. It's an honor and a privilege to be with you today and celebrate this extraordinary day.
Thank you so much, Mariana. And thank you also always for reminding us of the power of our intention and always giving us hope in sometimes those darkest moments. You always bring this spirit of, yes, we can, and we must act now. So very grateful for your stewardship as well. Thank you so much. And then I'd like to bring our sister Sheri here.
Thank you so much. It's so wonderful to be here in this field. And thank you, Jean, for activating us. I feel this as we're opening a portal today and now in a new way with this reading and invoking of the Constitution. And before I read Article 6.6, I want you to feel how what's happening to you is that this is a sacred call of action and that we are really the new humans here and now, standing for the planetary civilization and the waking up of our greatest capacities to be beautiful ancestors. Just the feeling of that makes me feel more alive, and I can tune to that thriving future that is our destiny. So here is Article 6.6. We activate futures as evolutionary attractors. The futures already exist within us now as potentialities and evolutionary attractors. Living systems enable the creation of new futures by exploring and actualizing these future potentials. We engage the future potentials of our evolutionary development when architecting, designing, and facilitating for thrivable worlds and futures, as well as for the metamorphic transformations that happen during death, collapse, and transitions. So feel this now. I feel this activating in me as such an aliveness in myself. I can feel myself as an evolutionary attractor. And I invite all of you to feel those codes within you that are coming alive now. And it's also just a beautiful invitation for us to kind of step into the new story more fully. We've crossed the threshold. So I just invite you to stand into yourself as an evolutionary attractor in this planetary transition that we're in. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Sheri, and thank you for always being in that capacity for all of us as a catalyst, as a storyteller, for holding at larger fields of possibilities, as you do so beautifully and consistently. And I'd like to really, for everyone here who is listening and perhaps later listening to this recording, you can see in the field that we are here, all of us are holding different codes, different notes, different expressions of that beautiful planetary consciousness. And that's why together here we really are like that singing field. And I'd like you to really experience yourself as part of that. So with that, I would like to bring Susan, our sister Susan and Stewards. Susan here with us.
Thank you, Anneloes. It's wonderful to be here with everybody today. We lit a sacred fire, so there's a fire going here in New England on the property, and my husband is tending to that. and I smell of the wood and the smoke, which is so amazing. So I just share that with you. I'm reading part of the Constitution, Article 4.2, put into slightly different words. As future creatives, we expand our future possibilities. And just to take a moment to think about maybe unique experiences that we've had or that we have consistently, whether it's with our ancestors, loved ones that have passed, interdimensional beings, angels, our higher self, our future self. And I think this passage here really speaks to that. So as a rightful and core aspect of our awakening, because that's what this is, it's a continued awakening, we acknowledge and embrace that we can willfully create our future with infinite possibilities. We take responsibility for our current self as part of our future self unfolding. These conscious quantum pathways are openings for us, which we purposefully design with the elementals, a collaboration with the ether and sentient life. Yes, we are literally creating these new highways of evolution. We can go ahead now and give ourselves permission to refer to ourselves as futurists and innovators for thrivable worlds as part of Earth emerging as a planetary civilization. We realize the future is what we create and acknowledge the creator beings in each of us to go to the source of creation within our own selves to shift our future by expanding our capacity for love, compassion, and creation. Our capacity to create seems to be very much related to our capacity for love. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Susan. And thank you for always seeing just beyond the field into horizons that for many people are not even, in that consciousness yet. So I really, really want to honor you as well for how you walk that path as a future human and holding space for these greater possibilities. Wonderful. So for the next part, I'll bring her just up if she can. Sabine is here with us, but Sabine is recovering, I need to say, healing from a flu. And she was going to do some beautiful toning for us. And she asked me, therefore, because her voice is still really healing, if I could just share, instead of her toning live, share with her a beautiful recording. So, Sabine, before I go and share your song, do you want to just share a little bit about this amazing toning that you do, so to bring us into that field, and then just unmute yourself? Yeah.
Hello, everyone. This is so beautiful to be here. Thank you very, very much. And to be honest, this is my very first solstice celebration. I've never done it before. I dare to say this. It's a double honor to be here today with you and to have this amazing, beautiful experience with you all. And yes, as you hear, I cannot really do it today live. So thank you for the offer to do it with tape. What you will hear is, I would say, it's a transmission I received. So I just receive frequencies and light languages that I sing in melodies and different vibrations. And this is a recording I've done with my beautiful musical partner with whom I record and work together. And this just happened out of the moment. So it was not planned and we didn't decide to do this or this or that. It was really a transmission, a receiving of what was in the air, call it that way. So the best, if you want, is to close your eyes and just enjoy and let you be inspired for wherever it wants to bring you. And I hope you will have a beautiful moment. And thank you very, very much to be here. Love you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sabine. And thank you, therefore, for singing that beautiful new consciousness into being. So with that, I am going to share your video now. And let us all enjoy. So beautiful. Yeah, so beautiful. Just taking a few moments for us to just receive that and let that integrate. Thank you, Sabine. And Hege, our dear steward and sister, love to bring you forth now.
Thank you, Anneloes. And thank you so much, Sabine, for that beautiful song that I think was just the perfect intro to the words about wisdom that I will read you from Article 5.8. And wisdom is part of our core stewardship values. Wisdom matures us in how we learn, act, relate, reciprocate, and evolve with life. We support our world with wisdom so we may become an EARTHwise species. Thank you.
And thank you so much, Hege, and how you nurture that wisdom through your very beautiful healing ways with people and the care that you give us all. Thank you so much. Thank you. And I'd like to bring here now our sister and steward, Carmen.
I wanted to read from Article 6.11, and before I do that, acknowledge our leader here, who has inspired us all to be here today. I wanted to take this opportunity, Anneloes, to acknowledge you as the creator of this amazing document that, for all of us that are ready, will guide us. We have now the document to guide us, and I invite all of us to take it, at heart and to look for ways to implement this document this Earth Constitution in our lives, in our projects. And so this Article 611, I like to rephrase it a bit as follows. Let us all commit to investing our time and our money in the abundance of life. Let's all make true wealth a planetary and economic priority by supporting systemic health and the collective well-being. And let us allocate and distribute our resources with equity and with compassion. And finally, let's invest in the health and the fertility of our planet and our social ecosystems. And I want to end by something that I learned in the Future Humans Quest that guides me. And that says that I allow the universe to bring forth to me all that is required to fulfill my commitments to the planet. And thank you all for being here. And thank you again, Anneloes.
Oh, thank you so much, Carmen. And thank you for the amazing steward you are and your incredible courage and determination and strength and long breath and helping us to really go for what is important and always reminding us we can do this. And the large vision that you're holding, I'm standing with you in that. So my deep gratitude to you. Thank you so much. And with that, I'd like to bring Dagmar here, our beautiful steward and sister, Dagmar.
Hello, and thank you for letting me read Articles 7, 13, and 14. Becoming the new worlds, we commit to opting out of systems, practices, and cultures that cause harm and division, and opting into systems and ways that heal and regenerate our worlds and planets. And having read this, I want for all of us to resonate in this realm and presence all the teachers and healers, past, present, and future, that have brought us here and will bring us further. So we all can become the teachers and healers that we need in this time to build a thrivable world. And thank you, Anneloes, and all of you to make that possible. Thank you.
And thank you so much, Sister Dagmar, for everything that you're doing always and staying true to, and your incredible healing insights into both the nature and the reality, as well as the needs of people and planet, and all your dedication and your long breath in life and everything that you have been doing for that, and your commitment and your care. So thank you so much. And then I'm delighted to bring here our dear steward and brother, Alexander. Yeah, grace us with both your wisdom and your flute.
Yes, I'll be delighted to do that. And I just wanted to pick up on an invitation that Dagmar was talking about or mentioning about resonance. You know, I'm speaking to you now from Buenos Aires, Argentina. And here in the Southern Hemisphere, although it's half the planet, only 10 to 12% of the human population live here. And yet, we have such a different reality. It was 38 degrees last week, and now it's a nice, cool 30 degrees. But it's one world, one planet. We are one people. And there's the expression that was popularized by Alice Walker, you know, we are the ones we've been waiting for. Well, what Anneloes and what Jean were saying, we're not waiting anymore. This is not a time anymore that we're waiting. We are the ones here now, moving forward together. And this is what it means to be the future humans now. So I'm going to tone a little bit with my flute, and then I'm going to read to you some passage from one of the articles of the Constitution, which truly is a guide for this time. So as I tone, think about the codes and the resonance that this brings forward in you in harmony. with all. Ashe. The passage I wish to read to you from the Constitution for Planetary Thrivability is from Article 6.12. We communicate thrivability. Life is a unitive pattern that connects, and living systems communicate to evolve by translating meaningful cosmological information into activities, networks, and ecosystems of relationships, and capacities that empower the evolution of the universe as a whole. When we, as humans, learn to communicate from unitive consciousness as a pattern that connects, the world we embody will blossom and thrive. With that, I wish to invite us all to remember that we are future humans now, and that we are in this process of solstice affirmations, a sacred time to be the civilization we want to see in the world. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Alexander, for this beautiful flute wisdom as well as your own beautiful wisdom and insight, and for always reminding us to flow, to be in a sense of syntony, as you've taught so many of us, and to really be in the dance of both the sacred and the joy and the living application of all of that. So I really want to honor and thank you as well for your stewardship and all you bring. Thank you. And Janice, sister and steward Janice, I'd love to bring you here.
Hello, and blessed solstice to you all, our fellow future humans. You know, we are indeed part of the earth and the cosmos. And as we welcome in the solstice, which is Mother Gaia's turning of the seasons, on this special solstice, she opens up a portal through which we can unravel centuries of old patterns in an instant. And she channels a download from our galactic center that gives us the tools for the spontaneous collaboration among and between humans and all living systems that are addressed herein in Article 6.8. We collaborate for the maturation of our species. We believe that learning how to become evolutionary coherent at the next levels of our increasing complexity is our greatest task as a species. This is the only way to avoid ultimate self-destruction and extinction. Evolutionary coherence is an organizational pattern of generative complexity which emerges as spontaneous collaboration between the diverse elements and relationships of complex living systems. We collaborate now for the maturation of human consciousness and not just to resolve sustainability crisis. Let it be so. And remember, time doesn't exist, so it's not about tomorrow. Our future human of this article is here now. Let's all embrace it.
Thank you so much, Janice. And thank you for really embodying that spirit of collaboration. And you're always weaving us together. And you're weaving us between the indigenous wisdoms, both ancient indigenous and future indigenous, and all the modern ways as well. So I really want to honor you for everything you do, everything you bring, and your path. Thank you. And Justine, all the way from Australia. We'd love to bring you forward now, dear sister and Stewards.
Thank you so much, my sister. I'm calling from Australia, so joining hands with my Southern Hemisphere brother, Alexander. I'm sitting on the land of the Bunurong people here in Australia, and I'd like to acknowledge the Aboriginal traditional owners of the Bunurong country and pay respect to their cultures and elders, past, present, and emerging. The next article, Article 5, is tied to our values. Values are like a tuning fork, which keep us grounded and aligned to our purpose, to our way of being, and how we show up for each other, our planet, and our ancestors, present and emerging. The words of this article move my soul, and I trust that the wisdom that has guided me to carry the light for these values is also the light I carry for others to discover theirs. So thank you, my dear sister Anneloes, for allowing me to share this article. Article 5.4 from our Constitution. Trust. Trust connects us to the collective heart of our humanity and the inherent essence of who we are. We give trust to the cosmos, to our earth, for guiding and supporting us. Thank you.
Thank you so much, my dear sister, and thank you for always helping us to go back to the essence of everything. The essence and the beauty, and you really live that trust. I've seen you go through incredible experiences in life, and you both give that trust, but you also embody that trust. So thank you so much. And with that, I'd like to bring Alan here, all the way from South Africa, dear brother and Steward.
Hi, thank you. Thank you, Anneloes. And it's a wonderful privilege to be here and to be part of this amazing event. And I've just come off a safari in a wilderness trail in Botswana, which, of course, is a very old country. Africa is an old continent. It's perhaps the origin of us all. So there are some places older than others, and Botswana could be considered as perhaps the mother of all motherlands. And just coming back to internet to be able to make this event, it's a great thrill to read chapter 6.13 of this amazing constitution and to be part of this. But before I do, what I'd like to do is share. This is an old Stone Age tool from Botswana. This is an artifact that's about 30,000 years old, and for me, it represents many things. But for the relevance of this reading, it represents those that are not yet here. So the future generations that are not with us ultimately are the ones that we need to be conscious of, and this for me is what this amazing organization is about. So I'll keep that in mind. And for me, the chapter 6.13 is about interconnection, and it defines our fundamental reliance on nature and the laws of ecology. And we are committing to become EARTHwise. We are each born with the potential to grow and evolve. Our actions and behaviors make the difference as to whether we do or not. When we realize how we too are nature as living systems of the earth, we discover the ways and the keys for becoming the future humans of planetary civilization. Then we become EARTHwise. For me, this is extremely relevant. I don't think there are too many of us present this evening that can now deny we need to live differently with the planet and reawaken and reconnect ourselves of nature and ecology. And thank you to all for this opportunity to be present this evening. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Alan, and thank you so much for being also the voice of the animals and the insects and nature herself and everything that you bring forward and remind us and help us to find those voices within ourselves, which is so important. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And Stephanie, our dear sister and steward Stephanie, love to hear from you.
Thank you, Anneloes and everybody. While Sabine's song was transmitting before, a bald eagle literally flew right by my window. So they are feeling the expansive field we're creating here, we're holding here. And I believe our tree relatives are listening too. So I have the privilege of sharing our promise from Article 6.7, that together we as future humans of a planetary civilization develop our capacities for regeneration and thrivability. Living systems, life-giving systems act as the sensory organs. We act as the sensory organs of the universe, enabling us to listen and actualize the cosmological potential of consciousness. By learning how to evolve as living systems, we naturally develop our interbeing capacities for regeneration and thrivability. And we apply the evolutionary forces of creation, preservation, and destruction on this solstice. What needs to be dismantled in us individually and collectively on this solstice for the thrivability of life and the maturation of human consciousness? Thank you.
Thank you so much. And thank you as well, just like Alan is bringing that ecological deep wisdom, thank you for how you're bringing that in. And always a voice for that deep, both the ancient past and ancient future ecological wisdom, and how you're weaving that with everything you're doing and the way that you're stewarding also that incredible wisdom for all of us. So thank you so much. Let's take a moment to integrate these powerful invocations. Just take a moment to breathe into that field before I'm going to be reading for you the vision of the EARTHwise Constitution. And I'd like to invite you to really experience that. So if you want, you can experience it with your eyes closed, or just relax and take a deep breath. Breathing in, connecting with life within you. And as you breathe out, just relax and let go. And take a moment to honor yourself for being here today, or if you're listening later or watching this recording, just take a moment to honor who you are in this field of possibility, as we together are uniting as the future ancestors of a whole new civilization, an emerging new planetary civilization. And remembering that all of us have something of beauty, of value to bring to this process. Your very existence is that already. Just trust in yourself. And with that, I'd like to read to you now the vision of the EARTHwise Constitution. So imagine yourself walking into the future world of a planetary civilization. Really allow yourself now to imagine this, to embody this, to experience this. This is the future of a wiser and more mature humanity. And you are one of its ancestors of a wiser and a more mature humanity. This is a world where children are happy and thriving, and our elders are cared for and honored. Our cultures are rooted in compassion. We act as responsible future ancestors in partnership with our earth and with care for the evolutionary process of life. Our cities and our villages and communities are alive with the intelligence and the wisdom of nature, providing thriving homes for all. We have learned how to honor and work with the life-giving capacities of our earth, while caring for the multiple dimensions of life we share. Our societies have become diverse and fertile gardens that serve as ecological niches of abundance that are overflowing with art and song and music and dance and joy. The earth is thriving with healthy air and drinkable rivers, oceans that teem with life, fertile, life-living soil, and compassionate food for all. In this world, each person is living the exquisite genius of their personal as well as their collective potentials. As we have become the future humans of a planetary civilization, as co-creators of thrivable worlds and futures, in partnership with life. This is a world you helped to form as its future ancestor, born from the future potentials that we together brought to life. I thank you all so much for who you are in this beautiful process, and I also want to honor our many incredible partners who are walking this path with us, and all of the other amazing people around the world who are right now celebrating solstice, and how our events connect with theirs and vice versa, as together we are forming this collective field. And I'd like to ask us all now to really bless humanity right now with this collective field that we have been co-creating here as we have been gathering. Just feel how that beautiful field of wisdom and that field of love now flows out in all directions around the world, but also all directions in time, all the way through the past and also all the way into the future, providing healing, reminding us of our deep unity with life, and giving us strength and hope and trust in who we are and what we can all together bring forth. So we also have a little video message from two dear friends who are also walking this path with us, and they are in Egypt right now, and that is from Shani Lehrer and Stuart Pierce. So I'm going to share with you their video. Open the floor to all of you.
Hello, you blessed beings. Here we are, Shani and Stuart, on retreat in Egypt. And we have behind us the sacred Nile, as you see. And not only that, the Valley of the Kings, which is the opposite side of the river. So we're looking at the west bank and we're on the east bank in our hotel. And just for a moment, we wanted to send you much love and light.
We are
Shani.
absolutely delighted to be here with you and on this very sacred solstice, which is happening for us here. And we send you the blessings of the Nile, the magic of the sand. And may we, on this solstice and into this period of holiday and of miracles for Hanukkah and of Christmas coming and of this new year, may we plant seeds of ancestral healing and clearing from the sand into a new world, into a world of peace, of beauty, of goodness for us all.
Ancora! I think that's absolutely beautiful. So we move into 2023 with this extraordinary ray of unconditional love that permeates through all of our lives. We are sending you much love and light because we have had the most extraordinary 12 days on the Resurrection Retreat, which Shani will tell you all about.
Absolutely. So Stuart has been leading us through this journey from the core of our DNA to clear, to heal, to remember thyself. So this is what we send to you and all of us here together, communing near and far. Sending you so much love. Namaste. Thank you. And thank you, Anneloes, for holding space for all of us.
Salam alaikum.
Blessings, blessings.
Great. And with that, we love to hear from all of you. So for the next part of our celebration, it's really organic. We'll be in conversation with each other for 30 more minutes or more. Our John and Jean, I'd love to hear from both of you. Please unmute yourself. We're so happy you're with us.
Thank you, Anneloes. And again, as others have said, we're so grateful for your courage and your wisdom to carry through on this. I find it interesting that today on the Quiche Mayan calendar, it is the day of which is the day of destiny. So it is not by accident that we are meeting today. The other thing that comes to mind is many of you knew Barbara Marx Hubbard. And Barbara was very dear to us. And one of the things she so often would say is what rises converges. And she would bring her beautiful fingers together and she would do this. And it is very clearly a confirmation today that this is exactly what is happening. We are converging. There is just one of us here, and all there really is love. So thank you.
So thank you for the celebration. Thank you, Anneloes. Thank you, everybody. It feels like a coming home.
Yes.
Oh, that is so beautiful. And thank you for weaving in that wisdom and that extra insight and everything that both of you are doing as well in how you've been stewarding this vision and been vision keepers for such a long time. So I want to honor both of you as well. And so happy you're with us. That is great. Now I'd like to bring up the next person I'm seeing.
My name is Tammy, and I'm standing on Mount Sanchez in Colorado, Boulder, Colorado. And none taught me the simplest prayer that I only ever have to say, and it cures all, which is to say thank you. So thank you, thank you, thank you. That is the simplest prayer I was taught. And as I continue my ascent to the top of this mountain, thank you to everyone. May we see this vision to execution.
That's it. Ciao. Thank you so much. And as you're walking towards the top, walk that manifestation. That's great.
Will do.
Fantastic. Oh, that's really nice. Great. So just raise your hand. Sheila, please unmute yourself.
I want to just take a minute to springboard off of Barbara Marx Hubbard's comment about what rises converges. That's exactly what happens when the blood islands start forming around the amniotic sac and around the yolk sac. And they're limited when they reach to the top. And it's where these two flows converge is where the heart arises. And I think we're working on a collective heart here.
I'm grateful you've presenced that. And yes, I really feel that too. And there's something really, really potent in this, what's happening right now. Yes, thank you so much. And I'd like to first go to Sheri, and then we'll bring up, is it Jean-Paul? Yeah, or Paul? Okay, Sheri first.
Okay, thank you so much. Wow, this is really in a very, very potent field. I really want to just name, like, we are a sacred node in the noosphere. Like, everything that is here is this. We are a microcosm of the macrocosm. So we're pouring this out upon the earth. And in the honoring of Barbara, I have this quote that feels so perfect to what's been named. And here it is. It's from the book Birth 2012. At the very same moment, millions of pioneering souls are seeking higher order of life. That is, new structures, not just new projects. They are seeking out and searching and creating new systems and innovations in health, education, environment, energy, business. In the great 13.8 billion year tradition of nature itself, these innovations are creating the conditions for an evolutionary leap. they are creating what the complexity theorists call a strange attractor toward a higher order culture. This attractor, which offers greater consciousness, freedom, and compassion, is emerging everywhere. So I just felt that is like, here we are, this circle of pioneering souls creating this exquisite new cultural DNA. And it's an honor to be in this beautiful community.
That's such a great message. And I really, really thank you for adding that. That's just perfect. And with that, Paul, would love to hear from you.
Yeah, I'm Jonathan Paul de Veerville. 24 hours ago, I did not know that any of you existed. But for the last week, I've been reading The Future of Man by Teilhard de Chardin. And last night, I had a dream that I was on a camping trip with him and a bunch of beautiful women and men. And so this morning, somehow, across my email came the notice of this event. So I said I should go. And so now it was just a really beautiful synchronicity. I thank you all for this. I'll follow. I did actually print out your Constitution, which I haven't read yet, but I will be reading that over the holidays here. But I'm very pleased to meet you all, and we'll be in contact over the next year. All the way, I'm looking forward not only to 2023, but 24, 25, 26, 27, when apparently that is the point in time now that we will be making official contact and communication with our brothers and sisters of the cosmos. That apparently is what is coming out now from the defense, anyways, different sources of information. So there is going to be a new, and we have to be able to respond as planetary humans to these planetary visitors and guests and brothers and sisters of the cosmos. So I thank you. Blessings to you all. You do need to know that I'm coming from a perspective. My cousin is Neil Armstrong. So I've been in this for quite some time looking at it. And what is so important, most everyone knows what Neil said when he landed on the moon. That's one small step. And millions and billions of people heard that. But what he said in the 2 minutes, which many people did not hear except some amateur radios did, and y'all know what he said quietly, but very few people heard, was, "We are being watched." So they actually did have contact from the very first time, and there's a whole other history involved in all that. But a lot of this information now is coming out, the last 75, 80 years worth of hidden information. But that's, again, a whole other story. But again, I'm blessed to be here with you on this inaugural occasion of your Constitution, and I will be reading that this evening. So thank you very much.
Oh, thank you so much. And thank you for the messages and wisdom you've brought here. I wonder if Eugene is still with us, because, she met Teilhard de Chardin. Jean, are you still there? Because that will bring the circle around.
I did know Teilhard quite well. When I was 14, I walked for many days of a year with him to Central Park. And we had a glorious time together. He was a luminous man who would have been so pleased to be here. Yes, one thing I'd like to bring out, it may sound negative, but it's actually tremendously positive. It was Benjamin Franklin and the group of the First Continental Congress met for days to decide what kind of government should America be. This was 1787. And when Dr. Franklin finally came out, an elderly woman went up to him and said to him, "So what have we got, Dr. Franklin? A monarchy or something else? A monarchy or and I forgot the word she used, but it was, it had to do with a world that would work." And he said, "Well, it's not a monarchy, madam. And if we're going to keep it, we have got to all begin to work hard to make it happen." And so what I see here is the members of the parallel in space and time with that Constitutional Convention. bearing a new kind of constitution, a constitution which involves men and women, beings of all times and places, quite literally. Perhaps the great cosmic mother has come calling also. But the point is, how do we stay with it? How do we keep it? How do we make it happen? Because we're living in the time of great chaos and also great co-creation. What methods and potencies and capacities that are lying within us, waiting for this time, this moment to come forth and be part of the recreation. For indeed, you are the people of the recreation. And I think that is a very important question that we have to think on. There is creativity, but as in the solstice, there's always the coming of the darkness. There's co-creation, but there's also living in ending times that always are the precursor to the new times of discovery. We are right there, holding our place right in the center. And I think what Anneloes has been doing for the 3 years that I've really known her is creating the ongoingness of the psyche that can be the partner of the time of the rising sun for the human race, indeed, for our blessed earth herself. How do we keep her? And more, and more, and yet more. Thank you.
Oh, wow, Jean. Yes. And what you just shared and asked us to reflect on is really important. So I'd like us all to really take that to heart. And I'm going to do that as well. Really take that to heart and then deepen that some more, as you're saying, and then going a little bit further. So that is so critical. And thank you again for being here with us and always.
Oh.
That's beautiful. Judson, I'd love to hear from you as well.
Okay, so very happy solstice to everybody on both sides of the equator. I want to thank you, Anneloes, and Jean, for everything that you've done. I was part of the Future Humans Catalyst course, and something that I think 2 years ago now, and something that you and Jean and Dr. Eisenstadt consistently emphasized was the archetypal realm as a connecting link or threshold between our planetary existence and this broader consciousness. Jean just touched upon that by emphasizing the importance of expanding into the presence and contact with other entities, both seen and unseen. And Professor Paul a moment ago talked about the notion that we are being seen. And I believe that's very true. I think, and this is also an essential part, I think, of this process. We're being seen by our higher selves. We're being seen by broader entities and any number of forces and factors that are involved in this tremendous unfolding. And so my question in its most basic form is, and this follows up on Jean's point a moment ago, we've talked about some wonderful things, and you've put together this constitution with some very profound principles, but there is this experiential element that is perhaps the most fundamental to this process. How do we bring into being these higher potentialities? How do we make contact with these forces, these entities, these energies that are part of this unfolding and expanding consciousness? And could you provide, any of you who feel you have insight in this regard, a sense of how the archetypal realm, both on a personal and collective level, can be applied? This is a huge subject. I realize we don't have time today to address it in greater detail, but perhaps you could leave us just with some brief insights on how we can begin to implement that as part of this expanding process.
Thank you so much. And yes, indeed, it is beyond the scope of this celebration to go in depth with that, because that's an entire workshop. But you might be happy to know that the 5 future archetypes are actually in the Constitution itself and worked out there in details, in really, bringing that forth. I think the first point of contact is, of course, always the awareness itself, and then having the intention of connection. But when I started and opened the field for us today, I started with an acknowledgement that we are part of a large evolutionary field. And many times when we are speaking about civilizations or human civilization, that's a very human-centric notion. And why we chose here the word planetary civilization and not a civilization linked to one particular culture is to really acknowledge that shift in our human consciousness, for that understanding how we are part always of that larger evolutionary field that even extends beyond the Earth herself, the cosmos, the universe, this larger field, and how that brings us forth. Because that's really important, is that sometimes we get so busy with creating intentions for life that we forget also how life is breathing us. So perhaps in this case, the first point of contact is to receive what's already there, to acknowledge and to honor what's already there. And that begins then with being receptive, being open, being a good partner to that field, as Jean was also presencing there. So that would be my wisdom for that.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you. That's great. But yes, we will definitely follow up on that and perhaps do more workshops as well in the coming year to go deeper. Thank you.
Yes, to speak about archetypes and archetypes of civilizations and the creation of civilization, there is a very great one. And unfortunately, these days, she lives on top of ceremonial government buildings all over the world. And her name is the goddess Athena. And the goddess Athena, if you're looking for a particular archetype, is the goddess of the co-creation of new orders of civilization, the great goddess of the new beginnings of new cultures. So as we look for, and again, because I said, yes, the new books indeed have a whole new spectrum of archetypal energies, but do look at the great originator of this level of highly creative culture and consciousness, who is the great Greek goddess Athena.
Thank you for that beautiful addition. That's really important. And then to J. Davis, and please let me know your full name.
Yes, J. Davis Hart. I go by Davis.
Davis, okay, great.
And I applaud and adore your books. I cannot wait for the 3rd to come out. I've read them all very carefully and slowly in between mothering. And I'll speak as an example of how we are doing what we are discussing to do. I'm a baby, I'm learning, but each morning in deep meditation before my 13-year-old she, they daughter arises, her name is Freya, also a young goddess in training. She keeps me very busy, and I run a graduate program for architects who aren't architects at an architectural college in Boston, and I reside in Oregon, a mere 3 or 4 hours from Eugene. So someday I hope to meet you. And all my teachers come to me in the morning. I feel the intuition. Who shall I listen to? Mother Mira says, why go on all these routes to get to God? Let's go straight to the sea. And that I believe is true. We'll just go straight to the sea. And here are all my family, my soul, people I've been calling in my little workspace, working from home. I know you're all here, and I see you and feel you all the time, as are my bright and well ancestors, who I'm learning by name and figuring out who they are, and the ones beyond my name. They are with me, and I am exhausted with 5-6 hours of sleep, and I don't care. I love life, and whatever I can do to radically self-care myself so that I might be present and calm with my family who has invisible conditions that they're at their own emotional place. So it's the day by day by day. And I do it not ever alone. So thank you, thank you. This is just such a brilliant blessing of a solstice surprise. I can't keep up with my emails. And I thought, I'll just go look at my emails, and boom, there you were. And I could join you and also join my work Zoom at the same time. And I'm here now fully, and I thank you and adore you all so, so much.
Thank you so much, and blessings your way for those little hours of sleep. I know that very, very well as a mother myself, so I understand, and thank you for keeping that spirit of joy alive as well. So that's beautiful. I want to bring Duncan here. Just unmute yourself when you can. We love to hear from you.
Yes, thank you. And thank you so much for putting this together, Annelies. It's wonderful. I met you through the Science Medical Network that you presented recently. I had a conversation this morning with one of the people that's probably foremost on the planet as far as actually making the carbon credit systems work and so on and so forth. And he reminded me that so many people that he's working with, the heads of industry around the world, and at the point, he said most of those are sort of over 55-ish and so on. But he said there's so much, they feel so much conflict, so much alienation from a lot of what's happening. And he said, so much of their wisdom, so much of what they have brought to the planet, he said, is going to be lost if they just throw in the towel and say, we're just, we just are not able to function here. And I remember when I'm in British Columbia, Canada, and we were helping, save the forest and that sort of thing. We were out there. And a lot of the people who were protesting, there wasn't the love. Let's put it that way. And I guess the bottom line for me is that as we're doing whatever we need to do to bring about the systems change and so on, that it has to be done in love, it has to be done in kindness, or we alienate so many people that have so much to offer, so much to bring to the table. And so, as was mentioned earlier, there's a lot of work to be done, but I just applaud what you're doing and just thank you so much. But our work is helping to I knew that the spiritual, our spirituality, our intelligence, our wisdom that is available to us is waiting there for us. But to do this in a way that doesn't sort of jettison so much valuable experience that's out there today. So I'll leave it at that. But thank you so much for this.
And then so thank you for that message that you're bringing, because it also brings in a spirit, for me at least, of humility, to keep remembering to bring that love into it, because when we are working as pioneers at the edge of this new paradigm, for all of us here, I think there have been moments when we all feel exhausted, and when we feel that it's a crisis after crisis, and that it can be challenging to lose perspective really then on also all that's emerging, all that's building. I've been noticing how there actually is a real weaving and a cohering happening among groups, among movements as well. So I feel there is a meta pattern that is emerging. And in fact, I would love to see one of our stewards would like to add some of their wisdoms and perspective, because I think you raised a really important point here. And just unmute yourself from one of our stewards who would like to contribute to this. Anna first, and then Mariana, please.
Hi, Anneloes. Yeah, sorry, I lost connection halfway through. We had a power cut here, but what I'd like to share from my side, and some of the comments and the conversations are all incredibly relevant, and for me, they have a common thread that weaves them all together, and that's how do we remain resilient in this in this constant necessity to rewrite our rules of engagement with the planet. You know, as a conservationist and as a caring ecologist, and I'd like to think an intelligent human being, it's very difficult to remain optimistic. You know, if you take into account what's going on, you know, the climate crisis, whatever, etc. And for me, the impact or the value of the wilderness experience is absolutely essential in creating a sense of presence or a sense of moment through which innovation can emerge, inspiration can emerge, and resilience can emerge. And for me, what nature does is it creates a channel back home to the beginning, to the source of it all, and that is within us. And in order to rewrite the story of our connection with nature, perhaps we need to constantly move back to our own stories and spending time in nature. If you consider that the origin of us all, the origin of the human being, is rooted in harmony with nature, not in conflict. And what the wilderness experience does is it reconnects us with that. And I use the word reconnection because the connection is already there. Our connection with nature and inspiration is part of our DNA. And I think one of the probably the most common motivation, or most common driver that motivates us all, is the desire to find belonging or stillness. When faced with transition or faced with challenges, the stillness can provide so much inspiration and innovation and collaboration between us all. And for me, we cannot separate the well-being of nature from the well-being of our own selves. I hope that was able to help.
Yes.
And add something into the discussion. Thank you.
I think that's very important what you just said. I really appreciate that. And Mariana, I'd love to hear from you.
Yes, I'm loving this conversation, and thank you for this extraordinary event. I'm a member of the Club of Rome, and I'm sure many of you know the Club of Rome, that has been fighting for climate justice for more than 50 years. And I am very familiar with this idea of conflict and alienation and helplessness, and doing everything and anything we can to save ourselves. And I think in the face of all the climate emergencies and challenges that come from, I'm a computer scientist also, so coming from artificial intelligence and nuclear threats, driven by AI and biotechnology and all of that, it's easy to fall into the false idea that we are alienated, that we are separated. And I would love for all of us to remind ourselves, and this is why I'm so grateful to be Anneloes' sister, and that we are an untethered soul. We are not human beings. We are, as Teilhard de Chardin said, we are spiritual beings having a human experience and not the other way around. And only if we forget that, our ego takes over, we fall into this trap of helplessness. And so I think this is what we need to remind ourselves. We are not our thoughts. We are not our emotions. We are not our ego. We are the soul. We don't have a soul. And so living untethered is the key. And so thank you for providing this extraordinary environment to remind ourselves and support ourselves in the face of all of the extinction, rebellion, and all of that. Thank you.
Thank you for this very powerful message and reminder. Yes to that completely. And with that, let me see. I would like to bring up, I don't know how to say your name again. And my eyes are not great. My physical eyes don't work as well as my inner eyes. Junie or Jiju? Oh, yeah, please say your name as you hear it.
Hi, it's Jian. Jian.
Beautiful. Pleasure.
gratitude and blessings for this convergence of heart. I would like to share with you a simple kindergarten principle, which is the circle, about which there are at least 360 points. It's the shape of our eyes with which we gaze upon each other's soul, and also the earth upon which we reside. The circle is also the symbol of the ancient Greek goddess Hestia, whose other symbols are the hearth, which pulled apart says heart, earth, hear, ear, and art. I believe it is through the art of listening. Yes, the ovum, the shape of shapes, and the spiraling through the portal of which we have arrived today, so that we may all commune, co-create, coalesce, rebirth ourselves as Great Mother, as Gaia, through this passage of space-time, and bringing with us only that which honors, only that which embodies, only that which breathes the truth. So that the circle as the container holds each and all of the 8 billion humans on Gaia, plus plants, minerals, and animals, all sentient life coming through with us. So go we, so go. And if I could just offer the method of the circle as the container, is also the cell mitosis, the spiraling DNA by Rosalind Franklin, the dark energy and matter by, I'm blanking on her name, so that the cosmic great breath of Jude Currivan, as we breathe each other's knowing. As we dance, we are one with that breath, the first breath of the baby that we the mothers have. My daughter, when she was born, I had a dream job as an architect, and I had an enlightenment experience, and I quit my job that day. When my son was born, he was born enlightened like Pachamama. The children are being born like this. They're not that unique. The children are being born like this. If the new school, the whole child, the whole foods, whole communities, and our inner children who have been collectively traumatized to be healed are given back their breath, given back their bodies, given back to remember ourselves whole, inseparable in higher dimensions and thicker densities. As we remember, quantum physics supports this knowings of non-locality and superimposition of the behavior of light. Light has agency in every photon particle. Our thoughts are light and luminous and heart-based. No separation between our Dantian to the center of the earth and the cosmos above. As we align our chakras, we attune and align to this knowing through the circle that already is the sound, the color, the number of all that already is. We just need to remember. And so from that remembrance of things past, our reimagining of what can be is so simple, but not easy. And the chaos has an implicate order, like our breath, that knows you,
yes,
that you know, that you know. Assalamu alaikum, namaste, aho, aho, aho.
Aho. Thank you so much for your incredible wisdom and reminders. Thank you. Janice, would you like to? I see your hand. Yes.
It's very simply, Gene White Eagle mentioned on in the chat that to remember that we are auspicing the old, to be birthing the new, as we are birthing the new. But I'd like us to remember to have compassion for the old, because not everybody can make that leap right at once. So we must birth the new with such great compassion. And as vision keepers, we have to learn to walk between worlds. And a poem wrote me in 2012, a very short one, over a period of dreams. Walker between worlds, citizen of none, lost and alone until a dream comes. Time disassembled speaks clearly to me. All paths are open now that you can see. So what that meant to me over time was the feeling of confusion and which world am I really living in? I see and I feel the part of this new world we are birthing, but there's these remnants of the old world and I see it dying and crashing and there's pain and agony all around. And sorry about the phone. And so it was difficult to see both until I realized that walking between both of them is what helps to dissolve the old and birth the new. And I just feel that I wanted to share that. We really need to have compassion as we take this compassion along with our strength, as we assist in hospice all those who don't see what we see yet.
Thank you so much, Janice, for this potent wisdom. Yes, yes. And with that, I want to bring, is it Zebulon? Do I say your name well? Just unmute yourself.
Yeah, Zebulon and kia ora from New Zealand. I'm also joining here through synchronicity, just sort of guiding to this call, and it's been really powerful for me. I'm going to be hosting a workshop at a conscious festival over New Year's, and it's the title of the workshop is Manifesting an Eco-Punk Society, and the intention of it was really to gather everyone and sort of tap into our cosmological power to influence the future towards this planetary civilization that you've detailed so eloquently. And some of the manifestation process I'd like to sort of elaborate and describe upon, and then just also like how do I paint the picture of the society. So I think as a part of this workshop there will be some readings from your charter, because it's just so well done, Anneloes. And I think as a part of that manifestation process, we all feel this call to the more beautiful world our hearts know, and the planetary civilization. So we've got this feeling, and then when we can think about and conceptualize it and visualize it, it's just like takes that next step. And what you've done by just being so well researched and so articulate and forming words around it, so those of us, without such a profound vocabulary can really just like read through this constitution and just it takes that next step, and then our hearts and souls will guide us into what the actions we can take to help create that all together. So thank you so much. It's been a real pleasure to be with you all this morning.
Oh, this is so wonderful. I'm very happy with the feedback reflection you just shared, because that's precisely the intention with the Constitution, indeed, is to help communicate and bring forth what's already there, because, nature is within all of us, so we can sense it and we can feel it, but so that we can now give it hands and feet. So thank you so much for what you are doing and your work and with everything that you're adding to this. Blessings your way. That's great. And Justine, I'd love to hear from you, and I'll keep the Zoom room open for another 5 minutes or so, because it's such a rich conversation. Justine.
Yeah, thank you so much. As a pattern weaver, I just couldn't help but listening to all this beautiful conversation flow, and I just wanted to weave some of the strands together. I loved hearing Alan, you speak from Botswana, from your connection with nature and really guiding us to what that is and how important that is. And I just wanted to, having actually walked on safari in Botswana, I know exactly where you are. So It's so beautiful to hear from you, and hearing also Jean speaking a bit of the history of how constitutions were formed and the visions of constitutions. So sitting here in this space now as we are really birthing this constitution into the world, it's all coming through us. And I wanted to acknowledge you, Anneloes, because this is your life's work. This isn't something that emerged in the last, couple of years or couple of months. I mean, it really is from the moment of your birth. It's every single experience you've had on this planet, and that you are the one that is this is coming through. So all of this wisdom that you're so beautifully able to bring together, this constitution is your life's work. But when I read it, it really is a homecoming. So this connection to nature, some of us who are living in cities and might feel disconnected sometimes or stuck in our heads, reading this constitution brings us home. The words in this constitution, the way it is structured, the little nuances in it, they all strike a chord in our soul and are tuning us and are realigning us. I've read this constitution many times, and I share it with organizations that I've had an opportunity to work with, and every single one takes something from it, because it's like, oh, I never thought of it that way, but it makes so much sense. And as we use this more, the more we are all aligned. Imagine a world that had only one constitution. Imagine a world where we all lived always with our Mother Earth in mind and in heart, and with our future ancestors in our hearts. So I want to thank you, Anneloes, and everybody here. And I want to appeal to everyone who just happened to be on this call. There are no coincidences. Really read this constitution and use it, because that is what it's there for. And I know there are a few people here. I don't know if my sister Carly is still here from Sydney as well, but I know a few people will be holding their own solstice circles. So bring this constitution into your circles, share it, so that it can also be a tool for others to reconnect and to come home.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. I'm really also for this honoring. I'm really touched. And I really want to emphasize, I dedicate that to nature, because all I've been doing is to the best of my ability, and I acknowledge all of you for being part of that, is to translate the wisdom of living systems as an evolutionary system scientist, but also just simply as a student of nature. This is, to me, the source of it all. It's nature herself. If we really open our hearts to living systems and we become as thriving living systems, then we discover those codes and wisdoms that are already within us. And this is also why with this constitution, it's meant to inspire, but to give you full freedom to work with it, translate it in your own wording. If you have a better way to express it, please do. It's not a static document, it's not something that has to be set in stone. It's really simply to remind you, so that you have, your own language with nature, that you too are a living system and a living wisdom. So thank you so much, sister. And Eduardo, I know you've had your hands up for a long time, so we'd love to hear from you. And then after that to Michael.
Thank you, Anneloes. Well, we spoke last time, and I shared with you that I was going to spend a month in sabbatical reading all your materials, and I think I came close to it. So thank you for putting everything together. I read the books and midway through the Constitution. Very, very inspiring. And if your goal was to inspire, I think it's well achieved. A moment ago, I don't think it was a coincidence that I received a poem for an awakened soul from a person I respect a lot. And I would like to read it to you, because it's responding to a lot of questions that cross our mind as we go through the process, right? Weaving change. And these questions of resilience that came about earlier. How do we remain resilient in light of everything that is happening. And so I will read it to you. It's a poem for an awakened soul. Don't try to change anyone. Just light up, because it is your light that invites your neighbor to change. But in these strange times in which you choose to return, your task, your mate, is none other than being. And if that one that goes by your side perhaps is asleep, respect her development and the apparent delay of it. Contemplate her tenderly and accept her as it is. Let her continue marching on her feet. Don't forget she is following her life plan, the one that armed her soul preparing for her coming. And you can't make her raise her vibrations, not with pressure, nor with subtle pushes. Because there are cycles in life that cannot be forced. Her heart will one day be open wide. And she will fully understand clearly and accurately that this life is only a passing illusion. You enter your own silence, and in a soft and quiet way, let your inner light filter through your gaze. Your soft and serene imprint produces its own action and spread on things silent inspiration. And when you let the other transmute their own cross, you don't try to change anyone. Let them find their own light.
That is beautiful. Thank you. I'm going to take that into my heart and to my night rest as well. I really appreciate it. Thank you for everything you shared and everything you're doing, Eduardo. I honor you. That is really great. And before I go to Michael, I see here the iPhone of Azuelas, and I'm hoping that it's Lisa. Is that you? Oh my God, you are here. What an honor to have you. Oh, amazing. Thank you.
Yes. I just wanted to say hi and to say how much I commit to making the movie of everything, to enter by fiction all the brains and all the hearts and all the souls. Fiction will be a great tool.
That's it. So for those of you who don't know, Lisa Azuelas is an incredible filmmaker, producer. You've made amazing movies, and I love how you weave together both fiction and nonfiction and humor and the really important themes of these times, isn't it? And
yes.
Yeah, so you and I made a promise, and together with Jean, that we're going to get this done, right? We're going to do this movie.
We're going to get this done. I wanted to tell Jean, I don't know if she's still here, but I wanted to tell her and to tell everyone, I am very committed to, I've just seen Avatar 2.
Yes.
With water, and I think we're going with water, with going a little deeper with the wells and everything. And but still, there's a lot of fight and of guns, so maybe
we need a new narrative. Yeah.
Maybe we need to. But this is also my question. Maybe, I think everything we experience comes from the narrative of reality that the majority has. That it's a linear time going from past to future with a special goal, and that money is the goal, and very simple. And I can't wait for the narrative to be proven. Yeah. I mean, and I don't know how long it's going to take. So that was kind of.
Well, I think the testimony is here, and all of us who have been here today, all over the world, that just to me is just the living evidence that we're living a different narrative already. That's why we new paradigm storytellers, each and every one of us.
Okay, that. Thank you for this moment.
Thank you so much, and I look forward to see you in person soon. Okay.
Yeah, me too.
Yes, that's great. Thank you so much. Then, Michael, to you, the almost final words, and then I'll bring it back to one of our stewards.
Hello.
Hello.
Thank you for this opportunity. I am honored to be sharing this moment with you all. I'm calling from Canada, and it's like, I'm not sure what it is in Fahrenheit, but it's like -33 here. So quite an experience the last 3 days it's been leading up to this this event. And last night I had the honor of finally diving to some depths into the EARTHwise website, and I was just in awe and so humbled and so grateful for all the love and the heart that has gone obviously into it, and then to experience being here with you all and recognizing that most of you have actually read that Constitution, and it's a real blessing to feel. I've been walking alone for a very long time, and it's a really real blessing to feel that there are so many people that have the heart and the mind and the depth to appreciate such ideas, and to have the strength and the courage to anchor such visions as not only a possibility or a probability, but an inevitability, and recognizing that the greatest spiritual truths and the greatest scientific understandings are anchored in that gratitude. And so I was just deeply inspired and filled with gratitude to be here with you all. There's a feeling of a definite feeling of coming home, and a feeling of transitions from an age where I feel many of us have felt like we are baffled philosopher kings and queens composing hallelujah, looking for the words. And so there's so much that I wish, and I know that we will all have the opportunity to share profound revelations, but to crystallize everything that my heart wants to express, and as a offering, as a portal of perception, I thought I would offer you all just a question to contemplate and meditate on in the coming days leading up to the new year. And that question is, what is the greatest news and or revelation that I can imagine receiving and enthusiastically sharing with the world?
Thank you.
Thank you all. Have a wonderful solstice. Peace, love.
Thank you so much, Michael, and thank you for sharing that question, and welcome to the larger community. Indeed, you're not alone. We're walking here together. It's great to see you here, and I will take your beautiful question to heart in my reflection as well. And to complete this, I'd like to complete the circle with bringing back my partner, Kurt. Kurt, are you still there with us? I want to ask if you could share the final words to complete our ceremony.
Very happy that we've had a special time together, helping with our minds in communion manifest this very energy that is indicated all around the planet in the rites of passage, where what was still is transformed. What is still becomes fertile again. This great wisdom that our planet teaches us regularly. And yet, sometimes we don't even look at it. We consider this as being normal, as being natural. Yes, it is indeed. Except that by being conscious of it every day is a form of meditation that is one of the direct form of communion. It's not just about repeating something, going through a specific protocol. It's about being fully, completely who we are, and seeing this transformation taking place in nature is also at the same time stimulating in each one of us, and therefore all of us at the same time in full harmony with this constant rhythm of transformation, just being, using our senses fully and completely in the same manner that today we are conscious that north or in the south there is a solstice, although it might take different shapes. So we contact with what we may call the non-specific. We are in that state, but we become conscious of it, and it becomes stronger, and therefore we bring the future into being. Thank you so much for all of us doing it together.
That is a beautiful message to complete with. Thank you so much, dear Kurt. And
absolutely.
Yes, Janice was saying, yeah, in excitement. That's wonderful. I want to really thank again all our beautiful stewards here, our partners, our friends, the community, each and every one of you who's been here. What an incredible celebration. That is all Mute wishing you an incredible solstice once more, and already a very happy Christmas and blessed New Year. We will gather again in the new year. Thank you all. Much love.
Thank you, Anneloes.
Bye-bye. Feel free to unmute so we can hear your voices.
Much love, everybody.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.